So, everybody knows what slap ass, and I'll try and use different words to be a little less vulgar. Everyone knows what it is, but do we know why it is? This is a gif from a popular sketch about the behavior in question. Now, I'm going to talk about how important it is for this among men, especially in professional and sports environments, and why it should not be stigmatized and tied with sexuality like it is in our current society. Okay. So, team building and bonding. Most, and I'll say most because this is more of a subjective thing, but many pro athletes engage in this form of acknowledgement with their teammates and friends in order to bond. It's relatively unknown where exactly this tradition started, but there are articles dating back to the 70s about Penn State players doing it. So there are very many hypotheses about why teams bond better when they use physical contact to boost morale, but physical touch plays an actual quantitative key role with teams. For example, in the NBA, in the 08-09 season, two teams that ranked the highest in non-basketball physical touching, like in between plays and during games, were the Celtics and the Lakers. The Celtics were the third in the NBA, and the Lakers won the championship, right? And some people might say that's just a coincidence, but it is my opinion that because they were able to bond through physical contact, because these teams were being able to bond through physical contact and acknowledgement, they succeeded as a team. And I think that many physical actions, including clapping your teammates' cheeks, were crucial in this. Now, a John Hopkins tennis player in a newsletter from, I believe, 5 or 6 years ago, said that a nice smack on the butt could mean anything. It could just mean nice job or you'll get them next time. It's very versatile, right? If you hug someone, usually it's when you're very emotional. But you don't need to smack someone on the rear if there's a specific context. You can do it for anything. I mean, Big Bird, this kid plays baseball. Have you ever had a nice little acknowledgement, a little pat on the butt after hitting a dinger?
Yeah, I guess.
Exactly. Because it's a way for his teammates to say, I saw you make that play. That was a good play, and you're my teammate. Good job. It's very simple. But it was a key part of how our baseball team stays together, because they acknowledge each other and they bond. Now, this behavior, I'll go to the next slide. This behavior falls among other behaviors known as homosociality, right? Which is seemingly homosexual behaviors among men in order to bond and strengthen their friendship. And there's a scientific reasoning behind why these behaviors are very important in a team and professional environment. So physical contact releases compounds that induce happiness or relaxation, like this is dopamine. And that's usually during hugs, but in a team environment, hugging isn't always appropriate. You can't just go over and hug someone during a baseball game because they got places to be, they got things to do. So instead, they use a swift smack on the back as a replacement for this. And that still releases the dopamine that is induced during physical contact, right? So along with helping you bond and form a sense of camaraderie, you're happier and more relaxed around your teammates because of it, right? And it is very comparable to a hug in the chemical reaction to it. And I think it's very important to realize that it shouldn't be stigmatized, right? Big Bird, like I said, whenever you got patted on the rear, did you think it was a sexual thing? No, because he knew in the context it was just his teammates acknowledging him and saying that he's an integral part of their team. Now, in order for this behavior to reach normality in our society, there needs to be some rules. This is not my rules. This is rules from an article from an educated man who had a very strong opinion about it. So in order to fully adapt to this new technique of acknowledgement, I believe these rules are important because if it's not commonly known what's appropriate and what's not, then there's no way it can be adapted into our society. So, rule number 1, no squeezing. There's no misunderstandings. If you squeeze, that's like crossing a little bit of a line, right? Rule number 2, pick one cheek. If you go full both cheeks, that's excessive. It's unneeded. It's unnecessary. There's no point to it. Just quick slap one cheek. That's all you need. Keep your eyes up. Eye contact. That's important. You don't need to be looking at what you're doing. You got to be looking at your teammate. You're saying, "Oh, good job." I'm not appreciating this. I'm appreciating you as a person. You're not objectifying them. You're praising them as a person, as a teammate, as a player, as a friend. Number 4, fall in line. You can't be too eager about it. If someone hits a big shot in a game, they score a huge goal, they hit a nice dinger, for example, you don't need to rush up to them immediately. Bah! You need to take your time and wait for them to come to you. You'll get a chance, so hold your horses. And you definitely don't want to force it, because if you force it, come on, man. That's not it. Listen to the hornet. This is the most important one because this is more of an analogy for when it is appropriate. Now, it should be during an appropriate setting, like a sports event or game, or immediately following a big event. For example, like I said, someone hits a big shot, right after the game, no problem. 3 hours later when they're chilling in the house, Riley, if one of your teammates went up to you 4 hours later, just slap you on the ass out of nowhere, like that'd be a little weird.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird.
But right after a game, it's expected, it's appropriate, it's normal. So this also fits in a school environment, for example. During gym basketball, I understand, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, right? But if we're in English class and I'm walking in and Will just comes out of nowhere, I don't know if that's appropriate. So I think it's very important, because this behavior is seen as sexual in some people's eyes, that you keep it to the right environment. So I hope some of what I've instilled upon you helps you understand why it shouldn't be stigmatized or associated with the wrong things. And I can take any questions anyone has.
Can we have a demonstration of the proper technique?
Big Bird, get up here. Come on, man. All right.
Number 5. Well, number 5. That's not.
Number 5. Well, in a demonstration, I'll show you without a model. Basically, what you want to do, you're not trying to hurt someone. You're not trying to hurt someone. Nick, you're welcome to come up, boss.
I'm willing to. My question?
Nick, let's say we're playing a little bit of soccer, a little footy, right? You just hit a game-winning goal, right? You win the game. So I'm not going to run up to you. If I'm like right here, I'm like, good job, Nick. So you're just going to turn sideways here. I'm going to open palm. You're not squeezing, you're not cupping, you're not doing anything. Because this is not a sexual thing. This is just acknowledgement. You're going to have a wide base, keep your balance, just way to go, way to be, way to do it. That's all you need to do. It's just acknowledgement. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much.